228, Truck 6, Truck 3, Battalion 3, and the on-call inspector. 2303 West 46th Street, number 208.
Hi, I'm Captain Ryan Cox, here with my friends to welcome you to another episode of Sioux Falls Fire. On today's episode, we're going to talk about our airport disaster drill, our hazardous materials response, and our first ever fire recruitment showcase. All of that and more on this episode of Sioux Falls Fire.
Hello, my name is Graham Kumo. I'm with Rescue 4, which is Station 4 on the south end of town. We're hazardous materials. So today's drill was a specific chemical involving a crop duster plane that's spraying a large amount of chemical that contaminated some rescuers and the pilot. The rescuers came in and rescued the pilot, and in the meantime were contaminated with the product as well. We, as a hazardous materials specialty station, come in and rescue the contaminated rescuers and mitigate the product as well. So once the life safety aspect has been completed, we need to identify the product to help the hospital help the patients that are being transported. So to do that, we have monitors and chemical detection papers and other types of devices that can help identify that chemical, whether it's a vapor, liquid, or solid. So one of the incident priorities is stabilization of the incident, and part of that is deconning the people that were involved, whether that's with water, or we also have some chemicals that can help with that. We will decon the people, the area, mitigate the product that's been spilled or has been infecting people. And we have all sorts of equipment on our trailer as well that can help with that decon process, whether it's a tent we can set up. We have hot water heaters for if it's a very cold weather, and we have spill containment items as well to contain that incident. So hazardous materials is very important in Sioux Falls because we're a growing city. We have a lot of industrial applications that may warrant hazardous materials responses. We have I-90 and I-29 that run through our city, which are major thoroughways for trucks and trains that may be carrying hazardous materials. So it's very important that our Sioux Falls Fire Rescue is ready and equipped and staffed with hazardous materials response.
So we're on scene at a structure fire here, and I'm with firefighter Zach Taylor, and he was on Heavy Rescue 1, one of the first apparatus in on this fire. Zach, tell us, what did you guys see when you first got on scene?
Yeah, so we came in here and we had smoke on approach. We were met with the cops at the front door, and they told us that they had searched the first floor and there was no fire or occupants, but they couldn't make it upstairs. Okay. So we went ahead and stretched the line. My captain and I made entry.
Where'd you guys go once you made entry?
We made it to the second floor.
Okay.
Smoke was banked down to the floor pretty good. Had quite a bit of heat. We found the fire kind of in a back bedroom and made our initial attack. And then we had reports that there was fire kind of in the attic, so we opened it up a little bit.
Okay. Opened it up. What do you mean by opening it up?
Well, we pulled some ceiling down, and we're able to get at the fire quite a bit there, and then found the attic access, and we're able to make access to the attic.
Okay. Pulling the ceiling, easy, hard? What?
It was pretty good because we had soaked it down pretty good already, so kind of fell down pretty easy.
Well, that's good.
Pretty hot today, so.
Yeah, it's a hot day, so like on a hot day like this, what do you got to think about?
Just kind of taking care of each other, make sure we rehab properly when we come out, get our vitals checked.
In rehab, what do you mean by that?
Kind of stay in the shade, water, wipe off with some cold towels. Okay. Just kind of general stuff.
Yep, staying out of the sun as best as possible and cooling off.
So,
yeah, I'll try to get you back in the shade as quick as possible here. So when you're first in on an older home like this, are there certain things you look at on the house?
Yeah, kind of look to see if it's balloon frame construction, you know, kind of pre-mid 70s,
Yep.
late
You know,
60s.
Balloon frame, that's meaning open space basically from the basement all the way to the attic.
Yep,
Right?
and on this fire, there was fire that had extended down into the basement.
Okay.
And kind of was able to run in those void spaces. And
Okay. So, all right, well, thank you very much. Let's get you back in the shade.
yeah, no
Thanks,
problem.
Zach.
Thanks, Chief.
Hi, Regan Smith, Emergency Manager, City of Sioux Falls. Today we had a community-wide airport exercise that simulated an airline crash. This is something we do every year or every few years to simulate what would happen in an aircraft incident. These are low frequency, high impact events. So it's something we don't get to work on every day. So we need to bring all the agencies together, the airport authority, the first response agencies, the airlines and healthcare, all to walk through this so everybody understands their roles, gets to practice their task, and then how are we going to communicate and bring it all together in a timely manner. And we had over 20 agencies working with this, so working with all those agencies to understand what they want to get out of the exercise, what they want to exercise and practice. We had to simulate over 100 patients, so used a lot of medical students, nursing students, EMT students. They love to be involved in this, gives them exposure to this type of system and event, so hopefully gets them excited for their field. And then when they're out in the medical world and something like this happens, that can kind of kick in, and they'll have an appreciation of what needs to happen. In these mass casualty incidents, we have a triage system. From the first responder on scene, they're assessing those patients, giving them a designation, prioritizing their need for treatment, whether they're green, yellow, or red. The green would be the walking wounded, the red would be the patients that need immediate care and transport. So it's a way, again, for us to prioritize the patients, get those patients the treatment and care they need as quickly as they can. And then there's just a continuous assessment from the scene as they're treating the patients. They might be reprioritized, and then we determine which patients need to be transported most quickly, and then working with our hospital systems to determine where those patients should go based on that load, what's happening at those facilities, and then from those facilities how they're going to react and work across the city to ensure those systems aren't overloaded. And events at the airport are really complicated. The Sioux Falls Airport Authority is the agency responsible for this. City of Sioux Falls first response agencies obviously respond. We work with the airlines, the volunteer groups, the Red Cross, obviously all of our medical students that worked as victims today, the healthcare agencies, and again our first responders from law enforcement, fire, and EMS all come together and have to work together in a coordinated fashion in this. And that's why we do these. As I said before, these are low frequency, high impact events. So we've got to practice these and go through these from time to time so everybody understands and so they know exactly what to do at the time.
Tony Bivens, and I'm a FAO at Central Fire Station. My job out here today was we were first on scene, and I was assigned a triage group supervisor. So I took my crew along with Air National Guard's crew, and we just kind of sorted through the patients, and I gave the medical branch supervisor just an update of what we had on patients. That way we could get people grouped up so we knew where people were going to get treated. Well, as we roll up on this kind of scene, and the National Guard has the fire suppression and the hazards mitigated, then we would be on scene to do the triage. That's our number one goal, is to get patients to the correct spots they need to be so we can save as many lives as possible. Well, this is real world out here with an airport being in Sioux Falls like this. An emergency like this could happen any day. The triage that we do on scene literally applies to anything that would be a mass casualty incident, like an active shooter, an airport crashing or a big bus accident on the interstate, we basically go through the same kind of steps to go through the patients and make sure we get them to the right spots. Just our personal protective equipment changes a little bit based on what kind of emergency that we have. Well, I think this is valuable because an emergency of this nature could very well happen, and it gets the different groups of Sioux Falls working together, where we don't have a lot of training like that, where we collaborate assignments and things like that. So it's good to get us all working together so we're all on the same page if an emergency like this happens.
Hi, I'm Michael Gramlich. I'm a division chief with Sioux Falls Fire Rescue, and well, we're taking you around our first ever recruitment showcase. We have always had recruitment in the fire service. Oftentimes it's just been word of mouth. Everybody who's got a buddy always knows about the fire service. It's been effective, but I think we can do better. And we had a great team in our recruitment committee that decided that we needed to give them more information. People find their way to the fire service, and honestly, we'll have them show up the first day at Academy, and they have questions about the job. And it seemed to us that we could do better. We could move that timeline up. And so we've assembled an entire team. You can go from the recruitment side, you can go to the HR side, you can go to EMT, you can go and talk to spouses of firefighters here. And the idea is that we want you to come into the fire service, but we want you to come into the fire service with your eyes wide open. And this is really what's the driving force behind this event today, is to make sure that people who come to us for the right reasons, with the right mindset, passionate and ready to go, but they also understand what they're getting into. Their families will know what they're getting into, because it takes a lot of support to make this whole thing work, and that's really what we're trying to accomplish here today. Sioux Falls Fire Rescue isn't immune to the same things that are causing other employees difficulty right now. We want to make sure that we are always putting together the finest group of men and women to serve the citizens of Sioux Falls. Historically, we've done that a lot of different ways. We've been able to recruit, we've been able to just have people come through word of mouth, but today, this event is really designed to pull them in, and it's going to dovetail with a lot of other changes that we're making in our hiring process. So historically, we've had a pretty drawn out process where a person would test. They might not hear for 2 years whether or not they're successful. We're moving that timeline up, and we're moving to annual testing. We want to make sure that as people become aware of Sioux Falls Fire Rescue through our efforts on social media and elsewhere, through just aging in and being eligible to take the test, or as we have this influx of people moving into Sioux Falls constantly because it's a great place to work and live, we want to make sure that we have the opportunity to include them in our team as early as possible. So along with this event, we're moving to an annual testing process that will allow us to always field the best team to serve our community.
Hi, my name is Joe Funky. I'm a captain over at Station 5 on the east side of Sioux Falls here. Today we're at a hydrant block party where we're spraying water with kids. We have music, games for the kids, where the police, fire, and Sioux Falls Public Works get to interact with the children of this community. This goes for 2 hours, and we do a couple of them every Thursday during the summer. It's a great time, and as you can see, the kids are having a great time behind me. So here we get to engage with the public. They get to ask us any questions they want, and we'll answer them, and feel free for the public to engage with us whenever they want. It gives us a good opportunity to also just kind of meet the members of the community and see kind of what their needs are in their community sometimes. So at the Sergeant Block parties, we love just as much as the kids interacting with them and spraying with water, watching them have fun. And we look forward next summer to having the families come down and doing this again next summer.
Thanks for watching another episode of Sioux Falls Fire. For more information, go to siouxfalls.org/fire.
Thank you!